Alrighty, another game for you, and something new. No, not me going second. It's this. Look at that. Mono green. I know I've been kicking the idea of playing mono green around in my head for quite some time. Not because I think it's particularly great, but it's sort of like a precaution against rage quitters and people constantly whining about land destruction and discard and counter spells and whatever else they feel is unsportsmanlike. So I figured I can probably build a pretty good mono green deck. It's certainly not going to be tier 1, but at least I'll probably get a lot more complete games because, I mean, come on, how can you concede against a mono green commander and stupid spells like Wild Growth? But surprisingly, I've actually encountered that already. I've had a couple of rage quitters. One guy quit when I cast Acidic Slime, because you're not allowed to mess with your opponent's mana, even when it costs 5. Whatever the case, this deck, I've probably played maybe 40 games with it so far, and I think I probably have just a handful of losses. I tuned it a little bit more, and there's probably 3 or 4 floating cards in the deck that I could still improve upon. But it's actually been performing pretty well. Kind of what I expected. Some of the games have been, I think just because, I'm playing with the good mana acceleration cards and Sylvan Library and various things like that. But some of the games have really been truly about abusing this guy, which in my opinion is far and away the best green, mono green general. I can't even imagine, honestly, how you can equate using Azusa over Omnath, given the fact that Azusa requires you to have a whole handful of lands. Like the fact that you need to draw not only powerful spells, but all the lands to go with them to make Azusa worthwhile. Omnath, I mean, literally you can run huge spells off of a single land. You can just ramp into some other stuff, put out Omnath, a couple turns later you're casting 8 and 9 mana things. This guy's ridiculous. The ability to carry mana between your turns is such a sort of abusive core mechanic that violates a lot of the rules of Magic. It's kind of like Mana Flare actually in a way, but multiplicative Mana Flare. Anyway, this is a hell of a game, and I've checked the replay already. It goes to its full conclusion. So sit back and enjoy. Here we go. He's going first. I have a pretty keepable draw, actually, given it's got Wild Growth, which is very, very strong in this deck. So is Utopia Sprawl and this Petal. And he's playing Chromat. Probably middle of the road 5-color commander. Certainly not as bad as things like Sliver Overlord. Probably not as good as the guy that has haste and trample and so on, and obviously not Sliver Queen. Sliver Queen is without a doubt the best 5-color commander unless you're playing a very specialized deck. This guy's playing Chromat, so we'll see how it goes. He's going first. Any mulligans, which is good. Oh, by the way, his name is Right Place, and I can't help but make a joke about that. Appears he's the right place at the wrong time. So here he goes. Turn 1, Command Tower and Soul Ring. But look at that, Krosan Grip, already in hand. So just Wild Growth here, planning to grip turn 2. Plays the Thespian Stage and says go, which is nice. And my deck happily coughs up Nature's Claim, which is pretty nice actually, because it allows me to the flexibility of getting Omnath on board as well as killing off the Soul Ring. So that's a no-brainer to kill that with the Claim instead. He transforms his stage into a command tower. And I'm just going to run out Omnath right now. This is a play I've been doing a lot, actually, that and with Spirit Guide. Just getting the pressure of this creature on the board is pretty strong. Although I've been very, very reluctant to attack with Omnath against white players. Just because you kind of get pot committed with pumping a bunch of mana in Omnath, and if they condemn it, it's going to really wreck your game plan. Because I'm really... certainly against any type of control deck, I really need to count on being able to run mana between turns so that I can cast big spells, because I'm not going to beat him with little things. And he's got Oblivion Ring. Doesn't even hesitate to maybe kill my Wild Growth with it. Kills Omnath. Not a big deal. I've got Lightning Greaves. So we're already looking at 2 command towers, Arcane Sanctum, Breeding Pool, and Darksteel Ingots. So at this point, my long-term prospects for the game have dimmed dramatically, given that he can just run out Chromat next turn. And I'm mono green. I mean, what am I going to do against it? I just throw away the Diamond. I kind of did this actually, not because I really wanted Mox Diamond in play, but I didn't really want to thin my deck because I want to draw more force. So there's Omnath, there's Greaves, raw, 1. But as anyone who's faced this commander knows, it gets out of control really fast. Like 3 or 4 attack phases to win the game. So he plays Gideon, which I'm honestly very, very happy to see over Chromat. Plays another land. I draw Birthing Pod, which has been super MVP in my deck. I'm still actually tuning the higher end of my deck. I've got right now 1 6 or 2 6s. I have a duplicant and a Rampaging Baloths, the 6/6 landfall guy at the 6 mana slot. I only have a single 7 mana guy, which is of course the Sylvan Primordial, and then at 8 I have Terastodon and Woodfall Primus and Vorinclex, but I don't have a 9. I have a 10, which is the big ass guy, the 12/12 Eldrazi guy that draws 4, and I guess Kozilek the Butcher, I think is his name. But I don't have anything in the 9 slot, and I'd probably have to play a pretty wretched Eldrazi guy to do that, and only 1 7 drop. So if anybody who's watching this stream, I guess it's not a stream, this YouTube video, has a good suggestion for a 7 or 9 mana creature that I could include in my deck, I'm all ears. And right now I've got like that 4/4 flash guy, Yiva, or whatever, in here, which I've been quite unimpressed with. I don't think I've actually ever cast it. I think the Birthing Pod abuse is so good that I'd like to have a little bit more top end. Okay, so we're just going to rope Gideon for 8 or for 6 damage and chill, with the hope of just Mind Slavering next turn and doing something good with that. No real reason to cast Birthing Pod or anything. He casts Primal Command, killing my Greaves. Actually, well, even worse, time ebbing my Greaves, because I don't really want them when I have nothing else, when I need mana. And he gets a Trinket Mage. Still continues to play more mana. At least that killed off Gideon. He doesn't have 1 counter left, because it would have been a serious pain to deal with Gideon. So we've got Greaves and Birthing Pod. Whoop-de-doo. Okay, I'm going to put Chromat away. See, I'm trying to think if there was a specific turn when he could have cast Chromat. Not up to this point, I guess. He's been doing something every turn. So he plays this thing, Maelstrom Nexus, and boy am I happy to have Krosan Grip in hand. Holy shit. And actually, after this game, right after I cast this spell, or right after I drew it, I literally went to my deck builder and removed this card. I've drawn it a bunch of times. It's been super mediocre, often just costing me a mana for no reason, or costing me 2 mana, just a cantrip. It's pretty terrible. I think I have enough acceleration in the deck already that this is really not necessary. The amount of times that it's been useful, I could count on like one hand, and the amount of times I've drawn it and not wanted to cast it, or it's actually cost me mana, I could count on many hands. So it's already out of the deck. I cast it here. Of course, don't draw a land off of it anyway. And this is a no-brainer to grip that thing away. So now, Chromat comes down. I am in a world of hurt. And he's screwing around with Trinket Mage instead, which I can kind of understand, given that he wants to shut off Birthing Pod. And he's got Detention Sphere. I would not have done this at all if I were him. I would have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I don't know. I guess he was 1 mana short. I would just get Chromat on the board and start beating my face in with it. I mean, I'm mono green. I only have 2 cards in hand. If you shut down Birthing Pod, what else am I going to do? He kills the Greaves off. Forest. So again, that should absolutely have been Chromat on this turn. He still has enough mana to play it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So he could have just played Chromat after casting Garruk. Instead he just plays Garruk, levels it up when I have a Forest Walker in play. I question the judgment of that. So I'm really, really hoping to draw some sort of artifact kill. Even though I've drawn 2, I've still got some outs. I've got the Wickerbough Elder, I have Acidic Slime, I have Stomp Howler, Indrik Stomp Howler. Any of those things, I destroy the Pithing Needle and immediately start going nuts with Birthing Pod, which would be awesome. So I just cast Mindslaver and attack Garrick, feeling like I have very little chance of winning this game. He should just have Chromat in play. There's no reason not to. So now here's another turn where he doesn't have Chromat, but he does have Relic Crush, which sucks, killing my Mox and my Mindslaver. And he untaps his lands again instead of making a beast. So he's just keeping the Yavimaya Dryad busy. I mean, you wouldn't want to take 2 a turn when you're at 41. I cast Lotus Cobra, figuring that there's no point in not putting it into play, and I also, if I draw land next turn, it's the same amount of mana either way, because I just want to play a land. So he Farseeks into another land, makes a beast. And now Chromat comes to the party. So now we got a race situation. This is a very, very tight spot, given that my Omnath is still shut off unless I draw. I guess if I draw one more land. I do draw the land. So down comes Omnath. No reason not to attack since I can't block Chromat anyway if he flies. And honestly, the clock of Chromat is going to be faster than with the beast damage anyway, with the commander damage. So he plays that, attacks, pumps his guy to 7. 2 more hits, game over. Really, really dim prospects here, folks. I've got Mindslaver in the graveyard. Plenty of things if I can just draw a way to get rid of Birthing Pod. And we top deck Tooth and Nail. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 mana. Alright, all I need is Omnath to survive the turn. So I'm just going to chump block now that we've got a long-term prospect blocking this guy's relevant, making him fly is relevant. Hit him for 9. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Yep. Man, that's how lethal this thing is. Just 2 attack steps at any point in the game. So he puts Regen Shield on it, doesn't attack, and then he casts Day of Judgment. Sigh. With this regenerated Chromat out. That's obnoxious. So I draw 2 mana at least, or I draw a land, which is key. I've got 8 now. Running out of time. Chromat flies over, pump, pump, pump. 8 damage, mash. I'm at 16. But because I have Chrome Mox in play, there are very, very few blanks in my deck that I could draw that would result in me not having 9 mana next turn. So I can draw any green card, I can draw any land, and things like Soul Ring, Mana Crypt, plenty of options. I could definitely brick on a few cards, though. I could draw like some artifact, like a sword or something, although that wouldn't be the end of the world. And here we go, birds. Perfect. Thank you, birds. Here we go. Tooth and Nail. Alright, I'm going to show you guys the deck here. Again, if any of you guys are experts with mono green or Omnath, feel free to post some comments or some advice about what I might replace. This is the full deck right here. A couple of cards that are a little dubious. I have Doubling Cube in here. I know a lot of people play with Mana Reflection, but I've really been fond of how effective this card has been, just because you can kind of sneak it out early, and you'll just float mana across a turn, and suddenly you've got 16 instead of 10 or something. Other cards. This guy's kind of junky. You think he's... it just shows you how insane the deck is. And honestly, this card has been very mediocre too. I've drawn it a lot of times and haven't wanted to play it, just because of the prevalence of clones and stuff. So I could probably cut Wormcoil Engine if there was something better, like maybe a good 7-drop, just to curve the deck a little bit. This has mattered in almost no games. Other than that, I think it's pretty standard. Anyway, the choices are, so I need to handle Chromat, who's going lethal next turn. So we've got that covered with at least, we've got it covered with Duplicant. So the question is, what is the other card to get? Terastrodon is kind of a neat idea, given that it deals with a couple of things. I can destroy the detention sphere. I can kill Pithing Needle. I can kill... So I can't see his board there. I don't know, a land. That's not really that useful. At the same time, I don't really want to give him a bunch of 3/3s when I'm at 16. And on top of that, I don't really want to give him a lot of blockers. So I think about this for a while, and I finally decide, you know what? He also might have another Wrath of God effect in his hand, given that he's already cast Day of Judgment. So if I cast Primus, that gets rid of the Pithing Needle problem. And if he has Wrath of God, I can handle that too. But I also think about longer term plan, and ultimately I think I choose to get Sylvan Primordial. Reason being, it gives me another forest, which is nice. I also can Birthing Pod it into the Primus if I need to, which is awesome. And it blocks Chromat for a turn after he presumably recasts it. So that's what I ultimately go with. Duplicant and Sylvan Primordial. There they are. So we eat Chromat. And we get a forest. Game on! He's tapping all this mana and I'm terrified. Like, what the hell is that? 10? Oy. Kozilek. You're not supposed to be playing with Kozilek. You're like 5-color deck. What the hell are you doing? I'm the guy who's playing Mana Ramp, not you. Ugh. So now he's got 5 cards in hand and this huge dude out. But we have tricks, because we're a machine and we top deck Regrowth. So, what's the play here, folks? What do you do? Obviously I can't let this horrible thing attack. And I need to get rid of it right now. So this is where having a 7 mana thing really hurts me. If I'd gotten Primus, this would have gone much better, of course, because I could Birthing Pod the Duplicant. Unfortunately, I have to just Birthing Pod the Duplicant anyway, just get it in the graveyard. Nothing to get. Regrow. Duplicant. Kill. 12/12 Duplicant. Mash for 7. Done. He's got 6 cards in his hand to my 0. And plenty of mana. Now he has Mirari's Wake. Yuck. And now he's got Tamiyo, the Moon Sage. Pretty good a lot of the time. Right here, not so strong. And he just decides to tap down my guy. I thought he might draw 2 there, actually. I think probably drawing 2 might have been a little bit better. I mean, granted, I'm not going to kill him in one hit. And he needs to draw answers right now. Instead, he just taps my guy, which means I can just kill Tamiyo. I draw the cube. So if I draw Mana Reflection here, just think about it. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I would cast Mana Reflection, and this would make 8 more mana. Versus cube. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8. 10. Roughly the same, give or take a little bit. Alright, we're going to kill off Tamiyo. And after combat, I'm thinking about what I'd like to do. I definitely am going to sack this guy and get an 8 mana thing, because I have to get rid of Mirari's Wake. I mean, I have no idea what he's playing, and for all I know, he could just be playing with some huge X spell that would kill me. So I decide that I am going to get rid of Mirari's Wake, but again, I don't want to give him a bunch of 3/3s to block this huge thing with. So, just thinking it through here. Yeah, we just sack, and we get Primus. I figure Primus gets the job done. Is quite a big, intimidating beater also. And combined with these 3 guys right here, that's 19 damage. I only need 2 more. Play the cube. He takes a damage, goes to 21. And I'm watching him tap all this mana, and I'm thinking in my head, Chromat, 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 because I know it's coming. There's Chromat. And as soon as he says done, we've got it. I draw Green Sun Zenith, which doesn't even really matter too much. So, float a bunch of mana. 14. If I had a Reflection in play, I guess that doubles that too. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 20. So it's 6 more. Yeah, it's debatable. I think really what you're looking at, though, is just the fact that this thing costs 2 and Mana Reflection costs 6. And investing 6 mana into a turn is kind of a big deal when there's so many other things you could be doing with that. Plus, it'll suck a lot of life out of Omnath. So I'm still pretty happy with doubling cube over that. I think you need one of those effects, though. So what we're going to do here to seal this game, Birthing Pod, the Ranger, to get Eternal Witness, get back Slaver, sack it, and with the final mana, Zenith for 2, getting Rafellas. And look at this, folks. He's got another turn to go. I have, but he, of course, is going to become... I'm just going to put this back on top of his deck and tap all of his mana. And I've got 12, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. And knowing the inevitable, the right place concedes the game. Awesome comeback. Totally demonstrating so many of the core mechanics inside of my Omnath deck. And really couldn't have hoped for a better game to demonstrate this deck being played for the first time on YouTube. Hope you guys enjoyed it, and I will probably have more games to record with this deck. I don't know how much longer I'm going to be playing it. It doesn't tend to have the same kind of epic comebacks that my other decks do, simply because you're really kind of limited in your tools playing mono green, and you often have games that just blow the opponent out completely or you lose. But we'll see. Hopefully there'll be some down the road. Take it easy.